Temu reached out to me to sponsor a video where I would pick some products and then unbox them and show them off. So I thought this was a perfect opportunity to be able to put together an inexpensive 3D printing essential accessory kit. I've been 3D printing for a bunch of years now, and general fabricating way longer than that, and if options like this had existed back then, it would have saved me a ton of money. I've selected items that fall into one of three categories: general essential items, functional printing, and then more artistic printing. After going through all the items, I'll group them into one of these categories and then explain my choices and give my final thoughts. So let's get to it. My budget to select items was $200, and really I was shocked at how much I got for that price. But that's not what you'll have to pay if there's anything here that you like. Temu's giving you 90% off everything in this video, which is really a crazy deal because you could get everything I show here for 20 bucks. All the links to the items in this video and the discount code will be in the description below. So if you see anything you like, just go there and grab it. And while you're there, feel free to hit the like button to help out the channel. Alright, let's get into this bag and see what we have. Now that I have things organized, the first item to look at is blue painter's tape. You can never have enough of this, whether you're using it to mask your prints when painting or holding them when gluing up. You can never have enough. Next is a small sanding pad with a variety of different sanding grits. This is great for all-around sanding. You get starts at 80 grit up to 600 grit, so it's a wide variety of sanding options. The applicator is made out of foam, so it's easier on your hands, and it has a Velcro bottom to easily attach your sanding pads to. This is great for general purpose sanding of large and small prints. The next two items are a square and a rounded sanding stick. These are interesting because they hold just strips of sandpaper on the metal frame, which gives you great control and lets you swap out the paper for different grits or when they wear out. You have the square one for flat surfaces or 90-degree angles, and then the rounded one for curved interior surfaces. Continuing with the sanding theme, you have nail file sanding strips. I used to make my own by gluing sandpaper to popsicle sticks, but these are so cheap, it's not even worth the hassle. So you get, these sticks have 180 grit on one side and 100 on the other, so it gives you an option between a coarser or lighter sanding. And these are also a general purpose, smaller detailed sanding option. And what's great is once they wear out, you can just toss them and grab another one. Next we have a set of files which are perfect for very small detailed sanding. These are diamond covered, which should give you a long use. And they come in a variety of different sizes and shapes, which is depending on what you're doing. It's there's a shape for every nook and cranny you need to get into. And unlike sandpaper, these won't wear out. They make it gummed up a bit, which you can just take a wire brush to clean them out, and after that, they're good as new. And for large-scale sanding jobs, you have this sandpaper holder that's made of foam, and it holds 5-inch circular sanding discs, and then also this pack of sandpaper that comes with grits from 40 up to 600 grit. So you have a large variety to pick from. And the sanding discs just attach with Velcro to the handle. So once you're done sanding, you may want to attach different prints together, or maybe you're making functional prints. That's where these threaded inserts come in. If you need a stronger connection than just threading a bolt into the plastic provides, or if you're going to be making something where you need to insert and remove the bolt multiple times, threaded inserts are the way to go. Here I have two packages, one for 3mm and one for 4mm metric threads. Those are generally going to be the most used sizes for any kind of bolts you're going to use on a print. Threaded inserts need to be heated and melted into your print, and generally to do that you use a soldering iron. There are many different types of soldering irons you can get, but you don't need anything fancy just for heat inserts. And the benefit for this kit here, it comes with multiple ends. This one that's on it currently is the knife end, which you can be used for smoothing out your prints if you have defects or fixing stubborn support material. For the inserts themselves, you just need the pointed tip. To incorporate these in a print, you would generally create a hole a little bit smaller than the insert itself, and then you just place the soldering on top and slowly let it melt into place. In this example, I made the hole a little too small, which is why you're seeing some of the plastic squeeze out the top. That's easily cleaned up with a knife after the fact, but if you get the hole the right size, you generally don't get that effect. Here's something I've found super useful over time to keep your workspace clean is a silicone mat, especially if you're working with resin printing. These are great because they're inexpensive and nothing sticks to them. So even if you're not using resin printing, just having this down working on top of, if you spill anything, paint, glue, whatever, nothing will stick to it. It's easy to peel off and discard after the fact. But if you are resin printing, they're a must. Any spills you get on the mat, you just let them cure and then it'll easily peel off and you can throw it away. Another must if you're doing a lot of sanding and painting are masks. If you're not wearing a mask to filter the air, then your lungs become the filter, and that's not something you want to do. These masks are great for dust and paint in the air, but if you start dealing with resin where you're having fumes, you'll want to upgrade to something a little stronger with a charcoal filter. Something that's very handy and you don't realize you need until you finally get one is a heat gun. And what's nice about this is it's very small and easy to maneuver, not like a hairdryer or a larger heat gun like a paint stripper. There's multiple use cases for a heat gun like this. One, if you have a lot of stringing on your print, running this over it will melt all them back. For painting, you can use this to quickly dry your paints. And sometimes if you have prints that you need to manipulate, they're not exactly the shape you want, you can lightly heat it up with this gun and gently bend your print into shape. And it doesn't run the same risk of melting or discoloring the print as if you were using a flame. Another necessity to have around, almost as much as blue painter's tape, is a good hot glue gun. Hot glue has so many different uses, from actually gluing your prints together to holding things in place while you're working on them. There's really all kinds of uses for this. And this kit is nice because not only does it come in a little bag to hold it all together, it comes with, I believe, 30 sticks of glue. And once these run out and you replenish, you have somewhere to keep them so it's nice and neat and keeps everything together. Something that's great to have around all the time are cheap paintbrushes. You can use these for so many different things, whether it's actually painting, applying glue, using it to brush on resin or other fillers if you're trying to smooth out your prints. There's so many different uses. It's great to just have a bunch of these brushes around, so whenever you need one, you can just grab it, use it for what you need, and then just throw it away. Now we'll get into a few different tools. First, we'll start with a good set of needle nose pliers. These are great for so many different uses. The most common is removing support material. Some of it, I mean, you obviously break off with your hands, but you get in those tight places where you can't reach, or the stubborn ones that won't come off. Having a good set of needle nose pliers that are accurately ground that you can really grab onto things with is a lifesaver. These ones are nice because they're not too big and unwieldy. They're just the right size for working on prints. To accompany the needle nose pliers is a good set of side cutters. Most printers these days come with a set of cutters, but they're generally very small, and they're fine for cutting filament. But if you need to do anything stronger than that, they're usually not up to the job. These are great if you ever have to cut chunks off your print for reasons, or if you have some metal wire you need to cut. That's what these are perfect for. The other kind of cutting operations you need to do is with some kind of knife, and this X-Acto knife is pretty good for the job. A couple of things I liked about this one. It's very ergonomic. I like the feel in the hand is pretty good. Also, it's not round, which means if you put it down, it won't roll off your table. And the back has a compartment that actually holds, I think, 5 to 10 blades in it. And now I also found this other knife, and I couldn't decide which one I liked better, so I got both. This one, a little different. It is round, so rolling would be an issue. But it also has a good ergonomic feel to it, with a rubber grip. And the back rotates, so you can, if you are working on something that's difficult, you can press that into the palm and still give you control to maneuver the blade. I also picked up this pack of 100 blades, because you can never have enough. Another tool that's often overlooked is a deburring tool. Normally this is used to clean up the edges that are touching the print bed that gets a little bit of an elephant foot, but really you can use this on any corner that you want to add a bevel to. So this comes with 10 cutting tips. You'll probably never go through them because this is meant to be used on metal, so you're never going to dull these tips, but at least it's good to have. Usually people try to use a knife or an X-Acto blade to do the same effect, but you get a far superior finished product using the deburring tool, and it's way easier. Something else that's super common in 3D printing is dealing with Allen key bolts. It seems it's the only fastener that 3D printers ever use. Most printers come with very cheap Allen keys, so it's great to have a good set to use whether you're working on a printer or putting fasteners into threaded inserts. Your standard Allen key is just a flat cut at the bottom, kind of what you'd get from IKEA. What's nice about this set is you can see the ends have a rounded curvature to them. This gives you a certain degree of flexibility when putting in a bolt. So if you're in tight places where you need to have a little bit of an angle to get to it, this gives you that freedom. It's also nice that they're color coded, so at a glance you can tell which Allen key you're looking at. Another item you need is a decent screwdriver for the odd time you don't need to deal with a hex bolt. What's nice about this is it's one screwdriver with all the interchangeable bits contained in it, so it saves a ton of space. This is also a ratcheting screwdriver, which is great for inserting or removing longer fasteners. It comes with 22 different bits, which covers all your standard screw sizes. Now what takes us to the next level is when you add in this set of hex bits. The Allen keys are great for smaller jobs and convenient for very tight spots, but you really can't beat the use of a screwdriver to drive in longer screws efficiently and quickly. And to take it over the top, these bits can be attached to any drill to make short work of any fastener. If you're going to do any modeling on your own or making functional prints, a set of calipers is a must to get accurate measurements. This is a good basic caliper. Now, it doesn't come with a battery. You're going to need to get your own for that. But it does measure in millimeters and inches. So whether you're used to working in metric or freedom units, it's got you covered. The last item is a bit unique, but amazing to have when you need it, and that's a plastic stapler. If you end up making large prints that you assemble multiple pieces, or you're doing cosplay where you're building stuff that has to stay together, this is a go-to item. The way it works is you insert these little staples into the end. This comes with 4 different variety or shapes of staples, and it heats them up so you can melt them and embed them into your print. So it ends up working kind of like the way rebar works in concrete, where it gets embedded into the material and gives it something to strengthen and hold it together. This process also shows how some of the other tools we looked at are useful. Here, the wire cutters for removing the ends of the staples. Trying to do this with one of the cutters that comes with the printer would destroy them. Then using the soldering iron with the blade end to smooth over the print and continue to weld the back surface. Let me know in the comments which one of these items really stood out to you, or if I missed anything that you think would be super important. Start your comment with the word tool, so I know you got this far. There were 2 items that weren't on the list that I think are important. That's a CA glue and glue stick, but I couldn't find them on their site. CA glue is essential for just basically gluing parts together or fastening parts while you work on them. The glue stick is essential for print bed adhesion, either to have prints stick to the bed or to give it a barrier layer so your prints don't stick too well, depending on what kind of filament you use. So now that I've gone through all the items, this is how I would group them. I would say if you're just starting out, this is the essential tool set to start with. Some pliers, some knives, deburring, Allen keys, and some tape. Next, I would say if you know you're going to be mostly doing functional prints, or you're going to start building larger objects, this would be the next set you'd want. Some heat inserts, calipers to measure things, some basic sanding, glue gun, and a screwdriver with your hex bits. If you're going more the artistic route and you're doing a lot of post-processing, maybe you're printing miniatures, so you're going to be doing a lot of painting, this would be a good set to go with. Multiple different sanding options, your heat gun, definitely a mask, your brushes, and your silicone mat. Then finally, if you're doing bigger prints, you're doing cosplay, you're making suits of armor, that's where the hot staple gun comes in. This will be a necessity to make sure all your projects stay together. So my overall thoughts on all these products is I'm pretty happy with the quality of all of them. It's pretty easy to think that inexpensive tools wouldn't be very great, but these are all pretty solid. I've only had them for a short time, so I can't really speak to the long-term wear and tear on them, but generally speaking, when you're starting out, You don't want to spend a ton of money on stuff you don't know if you're going to use or not. A really good practice is buy the most inexpensive tools that'll do the job to start, and then see what you use. Then the ones you break or wear out because you're using them a lot, those are the ones you go and then buy a high quality version of it. But if you're buying something you're using once in a while, you don't want to spend a ton of money on it. For example, the hot staple gun, I've seen that from $50 to $80, and if you go and buy one and use it once a year, that's not a really good use of money. But if you buy an expensive one and then you're using it every day and then you burn it out, well, then you know it's worth the money to go and spend, money on a high quality version of it. And with the 90% off you're getting, I mean, you might as well buy everything for 20 bucks and then try it all out and see what happens. So if you like this video, do me a favor and hit that like button. It helps tell YouTube to share it with more people and helps the channel grow. And more people will get access to these discount codes. That's all for now. Thanks for watching and hope to see you again soon.